Hello, everyone. My name is Caleb Pennington. I am one of the 2021 Humanities for the Public Good interns with the Obermann Center. And this summer, my internship was with the University of Iowa Library Special Collections, specifically working on their Historical Iowa Civil Rights Network project. So the idea behind this project was to have a place where researchers, or really anyone interested in civil rights within the state of Iowa could go and find useful resources. So within that, I had quite a few tasks. I'm going to bring you to the Highcorn website. So this was kind of like a more bare bones than what you're seeing now. David McCartney, the university archivist, started this project a few years ago, but didn't have the time to really get it to where he wanted it to be. So I had several duties this summer, one of which you'll see under this tab, was to connect other institutions who have archives and resources related to civil rights in Iowa. So as you can see, the African American Museum of Iowa in Cedar Rapids, we have quite a few universities. We also have some local archives, so the Sioux City Public Museum, a couple others, and there's more that haven't been added, but the idea was that any researcher studying civil rights could go to the Highcorn website and really find a comprehensive list of historical archives within the state, which would have relevant materials. And some of my findings have been pretty interesting. One particular collection that I tracked down was this civil rights collection related to Davenport, Eastern Iowa, that the Davenport Civil Rights Commission had created in conjunction with St. Ambrose University and the Putnam Museum. And the exhibit was displayed at the Putnam in 2014. The issue is that since the exhibit has been no longer on display, all those documents have just kind of been sitting at the Putnam, and the Putnam's more of a science museum, so it's not the kind of place that historical researchers would look for these kind of documents. And that's one of the great things about Highcorn. Right now, those resources can be displayed, and researchers will have an easier time finding these relevant collections. Another thing that I worked on this summer was related to the Green Book Traveler's Guide. So the Traveler's Guide was a published book that came out starting in the late 1930s, went into the 1960s, and it was a tourist book that let African Americans know the places outside of where they lived where it would be safe for them to stay and visit, right? So if you were traveling across the country, the Green Book would tell you places in different states that were available to you as an African American. So the New York Public Library actually published a collection of the Green Book. You can kind of see it here. Basically, it has like a brief intro, but then when you get into it, it has a list of businesses by state. So this first one, it's mostly limited to New York and New Jersey. As you get into the later editions, there's more Iowa entries. So what I did for my internship was I took this kind of raw data and used it to make a spreadsheet. So you can see these are all Iowa businesses. We have tourist homes, hotels. As we get a little bit later, there's restaurants, beauty parlors, service stations, all kinds of businesses. And what's going to happen is Jay Bowen, who's part of the library's digital studio, is going to take this spreadsheet that I made, and he's going to add it to, this map. So yes, you'll be able to see, if you click on these things, you can see different entries pop up. So that was part 2 of my project. Part 3, also related to the Green Book, was to find photos of some of these businesses. So you can see right here, I've just kind of laid them out in a Word document. But basically, as the Highcorn website develops, we'll add these pictures. Some of them are really cool. Like you can see, this is the Kirkwood Hotel in Des Moines. So these would have all been places at the time that African Americans could stay during their travels. This is the Grove Motel, which is actually back here in the background, that kind of black sign behind the workers. I'm enlisted below all the photos. It's just where I found them. That way, when the library, if the library chooses to use these photos, they can purchase the rights to them. Canfield Hotel, which is in Dubuque, it's actually for sale. A couple others. And then, so the final aspect of my internship, and one that isn't on the website yet, is a blog of related to legal rights for African Americans within the state of Iowa. And this ties more into my research as a legal historian. And I found it really interesting. Despite certain pieces of legislation which were certainly discriminatory, starting with Iowa's territorial constitution, in many ways, Iowa's kind of been ahead of the curve in a lot of these civil rights areas, things like desegregating public schools, desegregating businesses. You saw the Iowa Supreme Court grant equal access to African Americans much earlier than the U.S. Supreme Court. So I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit about Highcorn. I certainly enjoyed working on this stuff this summer, and I'm excited to see how the website progresses.